Picture the perfect family, Allison and Derek. They live in a stunning 4-bedroom colonial just outside Boston. Their driveway boasts a Tesla Model Y and a luxury BMW. Every year, they treat their kids to a dream vacation at Disney World, and they just finished a $68,000 kitchen renovation, complete with custom cabinets and professional-grade white marble countertops. On social media, their life looks like a masterpiece. Their friends shower them with likes and comments, convinced they've reached the pinnacle of the American dream. But what is the reality behind the filters? Behind those closed doors lies a mountain of debt, $117,000 spread across credit cards, personal loans, and credit lines. Despite earning a combined income of nearly $200,000 a year, their total savings is a mere $1,100. The peak of the irony? When one of their high-end professional-grade refrigerators died last month, this successful family didn't even have $1,600 in cash to replace it. They had to finance it, adding another $90 monthly payment to their pile of bills for the next 18 months. They look successful. They look comfortable. But in reality, they are drowning. And the most terrifying part? They aren't alone. Their neighbors, who just filed for bankruptcy and watched their Range Rovers get repossessed, were playing the exact same game. They were all just actors in a high-stakes performance until the curtains finally fell. Would you like me to continue with part 2, the keeping up crisis and the hidden numbers, to dive deeper into the psychology for your AI voice? So how did we get here? Bobby Hoyt calls this the keeping up crisis. It's a social arms race where the weapon of choice isn't cash, it's credit. You see, we've been programmed to believe a dangerous lie, that if our neighbors can afford a luxury lifestyle, we should be able to too. We equate visible consumption with actual wealth. But the data tells a much darker story. A 2022 study found that 43% of Americans admit to lying about their finances just to look successful. Let's be real, that number is likely much higher. We are financing the appearance of wealth while drowning in the reality of debt. Look at the math for a family like Allison and Derek. They take home over $10,000 a month. Sounds great, right? But after the mortgage, the luxury car payments, and the student loans, they are left with $2,800. Then comes the performance tax. Travel, hockey, and soccer, $1,100. Eating out to stay social, $600. Financing that shabby backyard, $270. Premium club memberships, $300. Before they even buy a single bag of groceries, they are already $1,000 in the red every single month. They aren't competing on income. They are competing on their willingness to borrow. They are on a treadmill that only moves faster, and they're terrified to stop, because stopping means admitting they've been faking it all along. Would you like me to continue with part 3, the invisible rich versus the performance, comparing Uncle Ed and Brad, for your next segment? Now, let's talk about the biggest secret of all. The people who actually have money usually don't look like they do. Take Allison's Uncle Ed. If you saw him at a neighborhood barbecue, you'd see a guy in Costco jeans and a faded polo shirt, driving a 10-year-old Honda Accord. You'd never guess that Ed is worth $4 million. He retired at 58 and hasn't stressed about a bill in decades. Why doesn't he drive a Porsche? Because Ed doesn't need to signal wealth to strangers. His bank account is the only signal he needs. Then there's Allison's coworker, Brad. Brad is the performance king. He drives a $75,000 Audi and wears $1,000 suits. To the world, Brad is the winner. But if you look at his phone, he's got $48,000 in credit card debt and less than $2,000 in his checking account. Brad is desperately trying to look like Ed, while Ed doesn't think about Brad at all. This is the Instagram effect on steroids. We are now comparing our behind-the-scenes reality, the bills, the stress, the messy kitchen, to everyone else's highlight reel. Social media has turned life into a curated performance. You see a friend in Turks and Caicos and you feel like a failure, but you don't see the $9,000 they put on a high-interest credit card to get there. You are being manipulated into feeling inadequate so that you'll spend money you don't have to close a gap that doesn't actually exist. Would you like me to move on to part 4, the high cost of keeping up, the damage to marriages, and the psychological toll, for your next segment? The keeping up crisis doesn't just empty your bank account, it poisons your life. Behind those perfectly manicured lawns, there is a silent war happening. Allison and Derek aren't just stressed about money, they are fighting constantly. Derek wants to cut back, but Allison is terrified. To her, cutting back feels like an admission of failure. She doesn't want to be that family that can't afford the travel hockey team or the fancy dinners.
She's trapped in a psychological prison where losing face feels worse than financial ruin. The statistics are brutal. Research shows that couples with over $20,000 in credit card debt are 3 times more likely to divorce than those with no debt. When your life is a performance, your partner becomes your co-star in a tragedy, and eventually the resentment burns the whole house down. Look at Ryan and Melissa again. One day they were the it couple in the neighborhood. The next they were switched to public schools and their credit was destroyed for 7 years. The house of cards always collapses. It's not a matter of if, but when. Most people in wealthy neighborhoods are just 6 months ahead of a total breakdown. They are 1 job loss, 1 medical bill, or 1 refrigerator moment away from foreclosure. They look successful because looking successful is the only thing they have left. The actual success, the security, the peace of mind, was traded away long ago for a marble countertop. Would you like me to wrap it up with part 5, the way out, the brutal steps to reclaim your life, for your final segment? So, how do you win a game that's rigged? You stop playing. If you recognize yourself in Allison and Derek's story, it's time to kill the performance before it kills your future. The way out is brutal, and it requires something most people are terrified of: honesty. First, you have to face the math. Add up every single cent of your debt. If that makes you sick, good. Use that nausea as fuel. Next, look at your interest payments. That's the stupid tax you're paying just to look cool for people who aren't even paying attention to you. Now, grab the scissors. It's time to cut the list. Pull the kids out of the $1,100 a month travel sports and put them in a $90 local league. Cancel the landscaping service and mow your own lawn. Sell the car with the $800 payment and drive something you actually own. Here's the secret. The moment you admit you're broke, you'll realize almost everyone else is too. When you tell a friend, "I can't afford that dinner, I'm getting out of debt," you won't feel judgment. You'll likely feel their envy because they wish they had the courage to say it too. Real success isn't a new BMW in the driveway. Real success is the silence of a house that is fully paid for. It's the peace of mind that comes with a fat savings account and 0 unread debt collection notices. The neighbors might think you're falling behind because you aren't renovating your kitchen this year. Let them think that. While they are performing their way into bankruptcy, you are building a fortress of freedom. Stop performing. Start living. Because at the end of the day, a life of looking rich is the most expensive way to stay poor.